Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Oh, it's Wednesday. Happy hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. Anyways, you can kind of see what I mean about my hair, how it just kind of grays in the front, but back here is just dark. And a little bit of grays on the side. It's almost like I just gray on the edges of my head. But anyways, nature's framing. You know what? While I wait for people to come on, because I got a really good show today, at least in my opinion, let's do a Beyond Lemuria pull, just really quick. I forgot it. I've been looking for this deck, and it's been right in front of my face the whole time. But anyways, I love this deck. Oh, it's so hard to shuffle with my hand. I haven't been wearing my brace because I'm naughty, but it gets in the word. But anyways, good morning, Muddy. Ooh. That one felt like one that needed to be read. Okay, but I'm feeling like there's one more. And then we'll get to today's subject. Aging. Aging. So it feels kind of apt that I haven't colored my hair yet. But I'm waiting. Oh, look, it's a dragonfly. So courtesy of my mother, you're getting this one. And this one is, ooh, I'm going to save that one for last. Okay. They kind of go together here. Oh, don't worry, Muddy. I was running late too. I literally just came on. So, but hello. Thank you for popping on. Yes, happy hump day. So anyways, and look at the beautiful artwork. So actually that kind of looks like if you look at it, it kind of looks like an animal, right? And this is like the face is the nose, and this is like the third eye. And like, here's the animal, or like a volcano, you know, going into the earth. Oh, so many ways you can look at that. Anyways, beyond the mind. The mind moves us through the logistics of life so we can function in the world. However, endless mental chatter, self-doubt, limiting stories, and subconscious programs can keep us in our suffering. Step outside mind-based limitations. Looking at things in an overly logical way will hinder you and obstruct access to your superpowers. The past may be running you and making your mind spin so you cannot see what is really in front of you. Consider what your heart and your gut are telling you. What would the situation at hand feel like if you released all fears and worries? Are these concerns even yours? All right. And the reason I like that is because when we go beyond the mind, we achieve freedom. Freedom. So I love that. The dragonfly always reminds me of my mother. Freedom means living as you choose, with your wings and heart open, able to direct your reality as you want. The quest for freedom seems innate. You may picture freedom in its more extreme guises, but when we truly feel free, our lifestyles may not change drastically. Limitation can be a state of mind. The only change might be choosing to live a certain way rather than feeling obligated. A shift of perspective can help bring lightness and choice. In the bigger picture, what does freedom look like to you? If you're feeling stifled, it is up to you to make a change. One of the things I like about these two cards, and probably why I felt compelled to pull them, is because they kind of go with what we're talking about today. So, a friend of mine posted on her stories a post from Ting Ma, T-I-N-G-M-A. That's her name. That's her Instagram handle, Ting Ma. So, but I loved this, okay? And I have the video, so I will put it in the comments on Facebook for you to watch, because it's wonderful. If you want to just go to IG, Instagram, and follow her and look her up, Ting Ma, T-I-N as in Nancy, G, last name is Ma, M as in Mary, A as in Apple. All right, so let's go. I'm going to read what she said, okay, because obviously I can't show you the video because I'm on my phone. But like I said, I will post the video on there. And I love how she's doing it. She's just pouring tea. She's just doing her thing. She's just doing her thing, okay? So, here we go. I am 55 and I look exactly 55. Stop telling a woman you look younger or you look good for your age. It's not a compliment. It's just to reinforce the youth-obsessed culture. Everyone ages so differently. What are we even supposed to look like at this age? So tired of hearing that she's in her 50s but looks 20 years younger. Why is that the goal? I don't survive 5 decades to be obsessed with looking 30. How many people never made it to 55? Women don't owe the world youth, beauty frozen in time. Looking my age or even older than my age is not a failure. Youth is not a standard, it's just a season. And the seasons change. We look our age not because we let ourselves go, but because we're finally letting ourselves be. I am so proud to look my age. So I loved this. And one of the reasons it just hit me between the eyes is not because I practice this. Now, I think if you do receive that compliment, oh, you don't look your age, just say thank you. Because, I think the person is intending it to look that way, or to feel that way, because I think a lot of times we are such a youth obsessed culture that, and I don't just mean the United States, I mean a lot of, and I don't know, a lot of progressive countries. I don't know how to put it because I don't want to be disrespectful to other countries, but in the way they term things, how we've always termed it, like, oh, well, this is that kind of country, or this is that kind of country. But I think just as humans, a lot of us are so youth obsessed. Plastic surgery, and I get it. Sometimes people have plastic surgery because they have, issues, with certain things. But some people just do it because it's like, oh my God, someone told me I had a wrinkle, right? It's like me fighting with my weight all the time. And in fact, I'm going to cover a little bit of that because, as I mentioned, I'm getting ready to go on a cruise with my dad. And I just, I'm sitting here thinking, I gotta go in a bathing suit. And I didn't realize it, but I do have an extra pill that helps me with weight loss. It is prescribed by my doctor. No, it's not Ozempic. It's not one of those GLP ones. It's just a regular med because I had gained so much weight at one point. My pancreas wasn't working the way it was supposed to be working. So this particular medicine, it's actually a type 2 drug, even though I am not type 2. So it does help me. So no, don't worry. I'm not in that line of people. I'm not trying to be youth obsessed with that. It's just, having lost my mom to pancreatic cancer, I don't want to give it any more reasons to betray me. So anyway, we're working as a team. But the first thing I thought is, oh my God. It's like, okay, I'm 53. I have a one-piece bathing suit. I don't have one of those skirt bathing suits. Because I'll be honest with you, when you're my size and you wear that kind of bathing suit, it is so uncomfortable. Not because you're in the water, but when you get out of the water, because it's holding so much freaking water, okay? It's just so, it's like a sponge. And then you have this skirt hanging off. And kudos and more power to other people who do wear it. But for me, it's just not comfortable. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. So 6 years ago, I went to the lake with my cousins and I thought, you know what? I don't care. And I was at my heaviest at that point. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I am just going to wear a one piece and I'm going to be proud because you know what? The only way for me to start loving myself is to start learning to love the body that I'm in this moment. And this is exactly what she's talking about with aging. And the reason it hit me between the eyes is because I fall into that category. When someone says, oh, but you don't look like you're 53, it's like, oh, really? Thanks, And it's like, but, instead of taking it as a compliment, I take it as as validation. Okay, I don't take it as a compliment. I take it as validation. So I think that's one place where I'm not sure how I feel about that when she says it's not a compliment. I think what we could say is it's not validation. Okay, it's just reinforcement of a bad mindset, I shouldn't say bad mindset. I apologize. An unhealthy mindset. And you may think it's healthy, and that's okay. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to give you something to think about. Because why are we so obsessed with that? When we're in our 60s and someone says, whoa, you look like you're in your 40s or your late 30s, and people are like, wow, and why is it that we need that comment to make our day? And I've said that. It's like, oh my gosh, you just totally made my day. And it's not that I'm saying it to be polite to them because they've just said this to me. It's because it's reinforcing my thought that, oh, thank God. Okay, I don't look 53. But then sometimes when I sit there having, in my past life, I was a pharmacy tech. Okay, so you get all different walks of life in there. And there were some people that were like younger than my mom, but look 10 years older than my mom. Just had a rough life, or maybe genes or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. And you know, back then I was in my early 20s, in my early to mid 20s, and I'm just kind of like, wow, you know, and it's just like, but you knew that some of these people, they did just have a rough life. You know, they would talk to me, and everybody likes to open up to me, and that's fine. I shouldn't, I didn't mean to roll my eyes. That was not intentional. It's just kind of funny that people just look at me and think, I'm going to talk to her, you know, because it's like, because I do have excellent resting bitch face, and it's just like, oh, okay, please share. But when you share, you're getting it all out of you, you know, you're getting this out. But then, so as I got older, I remember seeing a comic strip, because, you know, whenever I ate lunch, I loved reading the comics, and I still do, but newspapers are few and far between nowadays. So, you know, everything's online mostly. But a lot of it was just, I remember reading this one comic strip when I was a teenager, and he says, age is just a number, you know, and it really is. It really is. Whether I look 53, or whether I look 63, or whether I look 43 or 38, whatever. You know, I think when we fish for the compliments, it's because we're lacking something inside. We're lacking that self-love. And if you're wondering what this has to do with self-care, think about everything I'm saying. When you lack self-love in yourself, you are lacking self-care, because you're not taking care of this. You're more worried about what other people around you are thinking instead of what's going on in here when you look in the mirror. You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am very vain about the color of my hair. I am. But one of the reasons it's growing out now is because I know I'm going to be on a ship. I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. So I'm waiting till the very last minute to color it. So hopefully it stays. Because I enjoy playing with the colors now. I decided to kind of just embrace the gray and go, you know what? Fine. Instead of continuously dyeing this part of my head, you know, light brown or medium dark brown, or whatever the hell this is, my natural color. I just figured, you know what? I'm just going to play with it. You can see the purples. You can see the purple and stuff. In fact, I'm not sure if the gray is actually coming through. It might be. But if you put a light on me, damn. See, just like that, you can see it. But that's just my head. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, there have been people that have gone full gray before they turned 40. My dad turned full gray. My dad, that's older sibling down there. But dad is also in that direction. But yeah, my dad turned full gray before he was 40, you know. And started graying, I think he said when he was like in his 20s. I started getting little bits of grays here and there when I turned between 18 and 20. But I think I probably went full gray in the front in my early 40s. And yeah, kind of, you know, like just, because my mom only grayed right here. That's it. My mom never colored her hair. Thought about it once to get rid of these, but I'm all like, no. So, so it's like, you know, but right here, that's the only place she grayed until she got sick. And then she kind of, you know, obviously when you're doing chemo, it just kind of wrecks your whole body and grays everything. But yeah, you know, and so I always kind of look like, oh, I hope I have my mom's genes. I hope I have my dad's genes. Because, you know, in my opinion, whatever, you know, 80 look like, you know, I just feel, I don't know. You know, we can talk about it all day. We can make excuses about it, you know, to the moon and back. But the point is I like exactly what she said. Why is that the goal, to look younger? I don't survive 5 decades. Now, mind you, I just quoted her. I don't survive 5 decades to be obsessed with looking 30. And that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. Like, completely stopped me in my tracks. Because I'm looking at this woman. She looks phenomenal. I would not have guessed she was 55. But see, there, I said it right there, right? She looks phenomenal. And it's like, and why? Because we're so conditioned to be younger. Media makes us feel this way. Entertainment makes us feel this way. Magazines make us feel this way. But it's not their job to tell you how to think. Now, I love entertainment. I do. I love entertainment. And what I love that I'm seeing now in entertainment is how the women who, 40, 50 years ago would have been aged out already at 40 are just making an epic comeback. They're just like, you know what? Fuck all you. You know what? I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And I think one of the prime examples of that is Catherine O'Hara. May she rest in peace. I mean, I loved her work. Loved her work. But I mean, if you watched her in Schitt's Creek, this is a woman who was obsessed with, not being irrelevant, right? And trying to make herself relevant until she realized, whoa, people still love me. But I mean, that, but she just kept going and going and going, and like the Energizer Bunny, until she passed away. And it's amazing. Because she didn't care, right? I mean, a lot of people will remember her as being Kevin's mom from Home Alone, but this woman had a huge, like 5 arms worth list of credits to her name. And I love that, that women are just being, like Angela Lansbury, right? She did it in the 80s. She had her own damn TV show. And what Sammy sent me something, and she did amazing things for the people that had been forgotten. She did amazing things for the people who had been forgotten. She put them back in our path. But because we are so youth obsessed, we're constantly saying, oh, well, it's like, well, I don't know if I want to watch that because, I don't want to watch 2 50-year-olds going at it on the screen. This is life, people. This is life. Do you think your parents don't have sex? I got news for you. All right? Okay? Do you think that your neighbors don't if they're older? Do you think nothing's happening in like adult, what do they call it, 55 plus communities and whatnot? I mean, the Villages, which is I believe a 55 plus community in Florida, had some of the highest STD rates in the country. And while I shouldn't be smiling, damn, I am proud of them. Not because they had the STD rates, because hello, even though you can't get pregnant, practice safe sex, people, or at least get yourself tested. But they're just like, I'm going to knock some boots, because you know what? Why not? We're human. We don't just stop functioning because we turned a certain age. We don't just wither up and die because we go through menopause. We don't start wilting because we have perimenopause. And when I thought about all this, when I wanted to do the show, when I thought about everything she said, I thought to myself, okay, look, you know what? Yeah, you're in perimenopause. Yeah, you're having hot flashes and it's hard because you're already a very warm-blooded person. But you know what? This is life. Be grateful that this girl in here is still ticking because you have survived 5 decades. And I love that was, Sammy, I didn't survive 5 decades to look 30. Exactly, right? And then older sibling. That was due to a lot of hard work by a lot of actresses, including Barbara Streisand. Right? Kudos to her. She's like, you want to put me out from in front of the camera? Fine. I'm going to start directing my own movies and put me in the front of the camera. And I'm going to show other women how it's done. Which I still don't get how her movie gets nominated, but she doesn't. It's like that James Brown song, right? This is a man's world. That is James Brown, right? This is a man's world. No, honey. This is everybody's world. Okay? I don't care how you identify. Whatever brings you joy, you do it. You got pronouns, fine. This is your world. Okay? If you identify as a male, this is your world. If you identify as a female, this is your world. And I think one of the reasons I feel so empowered a lot in my own life, even though I do struggle with my self-love and I do struggle with my my self-care, but I had very empowering parents. I had parents that said you can do and be whoever you want to be. My dad is a total girl dad. He'll sit there, like, we'll watch a show and they'll be like, well, she's a girl. And he'll be like, pff. I can hear him right across the room. Pff. Because I know. And it's not because I'm sitting there. It's because I know how he is. He knows women are capable. You know? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But going back to the whole aging thing. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that. So it is James Brown. It's confirmation from... I have my 2 music dictionary or encyclopedias on today. So, but, yeah, and especially Sammy. Sammy's just like, but, you know, sorry. I don't know. Maybe when I get passionate, it just loosens everything in my brain and it all comes out through my nose. But, but no, seriously, when it comes to aging and stuff, women don't owe the world youth, beauty frozen in time. No, we don't. We don't. I mean, if you want to get plastic surgery, fine. I can't stop you. That's your thing. And I'm not going to shame you for it. I'm not going to belittle you for it. But I do want people to ask the question, am I doing it because I don't like the wrinkles? Or am I doing it because I'm struggling with aging? I mean, I have promised myself that I will never do that. But I have not promised that I might get a boob lift one day, if I can. Because why not, right? I'm not used to having all this, and apparently they do like to stick around a little bit. Because even though I'm losing a little bit, I'm not losing as much as I thought. So I'm not sure I'm ever going to lose it all. But, you know, I mean, come on. I got a teeny bit of Scandinavian blood. And I got a little bit of, like, you know, Eastern Bloc blood. So it's like, come on, girls, show up. But... but I'm also half Asian, so that kind of shoots you in the foot. But when it comes to the girls, but anyways, yeah, I don't care. Clearly, I don't care. But yeah, you know what? Youth is just a season, and seasons change. So, you know, and I shouldn't. And what I hate too, though. I will say this. If a woman gets plastic surgery, say an actress, right? I saw this the other day. I was just watching YouTube and it says like, you know, X amount of times an interviewer was shut down. And people will sit there and go, well, I don't know why they're being so rude to the interviewer. Excuse me. If you are not going to ask the guy to the next to them, I think it was the right of her. If, you know, he had some kind of work done, don't be asking her. You're there to talk about the movie, not what she does in her personal time. If she wants to get plastic surgery or he wants to get plastic surgery or whoever wants to get, that's fine. That's their choice. That's their choice. And just because we believe that we should all age gracefully, or a lot of us believe that, doesn't mean that other people have to believe what we believe. We're in charge of this, all right? Just ourselves. Look in front of the mirror and say to yourself, the only person I'm in charge of is this person. Unless you have kids. And once they're 18, you're really not in charge of them anymore. You kind of are, right? Parents will hold school over the head. Well, I'm paying for your school, so... But as long... I do agree with that, you know, as long as you live in my house, you should follow my rules. But come on, parents. If your kid is 18 and they want to hang out till midnight because they're out of high school, all right? I'm the whole... Once you're out of high school thing, then you have to start letting them go. You have to start setting them free. Because the more you hang on to them, the less they're going to learn about life. But, and that's advice coming from a woman who has never been a parent. But I have been an aunt, and I have a very big family. But yeah. So we look our age, not because we let ourselves go, but because we finally let ourselves be. And she says, I'm so proud to look my age. So again, she's 55. I'm 53. And, you know, and I used to shy away, you know, on the early days of my show talking about how old I am, because I was always like, well, you know, and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. But it's kind of like now, it's like when it's really not a secret. So, because I've just, in order for myself to be able to move forward in my life, I had to embrace it. I had to embrace midlife. But that's why I also do like these little mini reels, like the anti-midlife crisis series, because it's kind of like, yeah, it's like, it's an anti-midlife crisis. Why do we have to go through a midlife crisis? Right? Everybody, that seems so cliche. Oh, he bought a car because he went through his midlife crisis. No, this motherfucker bought a car. Sorry Sorry, I know, I can't help it. I'm passionate. I'm on my soapbox. This dude bought a Corvette because he's finally in his life. His kids are probably off to school, or his kids might be out of the house or married, or even the woman that buys, like maybe she bought a Range Rover or she bought the Ferrari. And she's like, you know what? My kids are out. My kids are out. And I'm like, I'm going to enjoy myself. It's not a midlife crisis. They are finally in a place where they don't have to financially care for the world anymore. They can take care of themselves. And they can buy the things they wanted that they couldn't have because they were putting their kids first. This is their gift to themselves. It doesn't have to be a midlife crisis. For some people, it might be. For some men, it could be. Oh, I'm driving around. But just because he's driving around doesn't mean that he's like, oh, look at me. He's like, yeah, check out my car. I am in my dream car. My dream car is like I think it's a 68 Mustang convertible. Either British racing green, which is like this really pretty deep green with the 2 racing stripes up the middle, or dark Charger blue with the 2 white racing stripes up the middle. That's my dream car. And before I wanted the muscle car, but no, now I'm like, I want a convertible. But yeah, Sammy, I'm 67 in my summer of love. I love that, in my summer of love. I don't know where I'm in. Definitely not the winter of my life yet, but I feel like I'm trapped somewhere between fall and spring. Not winter. Okay, I know winter is between fall and spring, but it's kind of like, but yeah, okay, I'm glad she actually said her age, because one of the things I love about Muddy is that she literally was born the day the music died. All right, if you know, you know. Okay, if you know, you know. It's the day Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper passed away in a sad and tragic airplane crash with the young man. And I apologize for not knowing his name, but he also passed away, and that was very sad because he was very young. They all were young, right? They all were young except maybe the Big Bopper, but even then he was still younger than me. But Sammy says it. I am not a proponent of plastic surgery, but I think it's downright rude to ask anyone if they've had work done. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you know a person who was an A cup and suddenly they show up with a C cup, you don't go up to them and say, hey, did you get a boob job? Use your brain, okay? Don't be rude, because this wasn't meant for you. This was meant for them. Even if it was just meant to make them feel good about themselves, or because they're like, dude, I want some clothes that, help me fill out. I want some boobs that help me fill out my own clothes. Boy, I got so passionate about that for a second, I got dizzy. Shit. But then Sammy, exactly, I feel like in many cases, it isn't a midlife crisis. It's just that they can finally afford the dream car. Exactly. Right? Exactly. Whoa. Okay, guys, I don't know what is happening, but I am so dizzy right now. I don't know if I just had an awakening or what, but holy moly. And of course, at my age, the first thing I think of is like, do I smell toast? Am I having a problem? Am I speaking? I mean, I feel like I'm speaking, right? But I am saying words. You guys need to, I'm not joking. You guys need to, let's see. Oh yeah, Sammy says, I decided that since 67 was a summer of love, that I was going to claim that for my 67th year. I love that. I absolutely love that. When I turned 42, I called it my Jackie Robinson year, my breakout year. And in a way, I guess it kind of was, because that's when my healing journey started. So it just took a while. Wow. I'm telling you, that was right out straight weird. Like, it just felt like something walked through me, or something. Actually, no, you know what? It felt like something lifted off of me. I would love to go back and watch this video and see if I see anything, because it was just kind of like, I mean, it was so overwhelming that it was like, wow, it was like euphoria without drugs. Don't know how else to explain that. Oh yeah, older sibling, her husband, well, it's her ex-husband, but they love each other. But my husband, she's all, my husband did, and I told him, no, I just got fat. Oh my God. Okay. Yes, you gained weight. Now, part of the reason your back hurts might be because you have boobs. And I keep telling her she does, because I'm trying to get her to wear the right bra size. And that's a little personal. I know, I'm sorry. But she's my sister, and I love her, and I care about her. And, I know that there's a lot of us that struggle with our body positivity. I know there's a lot of us that struggle with, showing up for ourselves. And so last night when I was thinking about all the different things that I'm putting on my bed so that when I come home Saturday I can pack, I was just kind of like, what, I just, it's like, what do I want to bring? Oh yeah, my bathing suit's at my dad's house. Okay, yada, 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 fine. And it's one thing to go down to a pool. There's like 2 or 3 people or nobody at all. It's another thing to go to a pool when you know you're on a ship full of people that you are going to see possibly later. Maybe, because it is a big ship. Doesn't mean you're going to run into the same people and over and over again, but you might. All right. And all I could think of was, you know what? I'm not showing up to the pool for them. If I choose to go to the pool or I choose to go to the jacuzzi, I'm showing it up and doing it for me. And I don't care. If they want to make comments, make comments. But if you're going to make them in my face. All right? And I know that sounded a little threatening, didn't it? Make it to my face. But it, because all I would just say is like, are you so insecure that you have to focus on my body? And I think that might be my new saying. If I hear somebody, are you so insecure that you have to focus on my body? Because you have no idea what my journey entails. If it goes on further, because I would just say that, and just walk away. But if they want to talk, just say, look, you know what? You don't know where my journey's brought me so far. So don't judge me. It's like, you wouldn't want me judging you, right? Because judgment goes both ways. Thick or thin, I've seen both do it. I've seen thin people judge thick people, and I've seen thick people judge thin people. And I don't care for it either way. Humans are humans. We're going to human, all right? We are going to human. We are going to be human. We are going to do all the things that make us human and keep us human. And, it's just do you. It's always like older sibling says, what other people think of you is none of your business. And it's true. Yeah, well, it says, I kind of feel like everyone on a cruise is there for their own enjoyment and probably aren't really paying attention to anyone else anyways. Exactly. And that's what I had to also tell myself, but I also had to make some kind of mock fight in my head because I'm ridiculous that way. But that's true. Nobody cares, and I even thought about it, but I think what was concerning me is that there have been times when you go to a buffet and you do see people. And there was this lady the other day, and I felt bad because I sat down and I was like, seriously? And I meant to tell older sibling this, but I forgot because she's all, what, is everything okay? I said, oh yeah, no. I said, I was just, my gravy was about to drip on my white shirt, which it was, but I had that under control. The lady behind me, even though she was probably about my size, but a little bit taller, just kept looking at everything I was doing. She decided she was going to sit back against the wall, face, with her legs on, the chair of the booth, and that she was going to just, she kept, and I have very good peripheral. So I kept seeing, like, I reach for a napkin and she's looking at what I'm eating. And maybe she's just looking to see, but it's like, lady, there's a buffet over there. You want to look what's over there? Go look. But it did make me a little self-conscious because it's like, dude, keep your eyes on your own damn plate. Don't be watching me. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Okay? Because it's not like I go to a buffet every day. I don't. But I like this place and I really wanted a lot of breakfast. So, but it's just different things. And I think I do think there are some people, but they just don't say anything because it's like, they're just here on vacation. Let them enjoy themselves. But sometimes you have to wonder if they're kind of eyeballing you. What are they like in their real life? We worry too much about what other people think of us. We worry about aging. We worry about ageism. We worry about moving closer to death, which I know can be scary for some people. It used to scare me, but as I've gotten older and as I've kind of just healed myself, I realized, you know what? I did what I came here to do. So now I just need to enjoy everything else the rest of the way. I need to stop worrying about everything. I need to stop worrying about what time the sun is going to rise or what time it's going to set. I mean, that's obviously an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Because we worry too much. And I think this is why when someone sits there and says, oh, well, you look younger. If you're talking and somebody says, well, how old are you? It's like, oh, I'm 53. It's like, what? And I'll be honest with you. My first reaction isn't, is it because I look young? No, it's like, oh my God, am I that immature? When they sit there and say, oh, they're all, you're 53? I didn't think you were 53. And then it's like, well, did you think I was older? No. And it's like, oh God, they think I'm immature. And legit, that is exactly what I think. Oh my God, they think I'm immature. That's how my brain works. That's how my brain works. It doesn't say, oh, well, thanks, but yeah, just let people do what they're going to do. Like I said, if they want to have plastic surgery, let them have plastic surgery. But for all the people that understand what Ting Ma was trying to say, she's just trying to say, look, there's nothing wrong with growing old gracefully or aging gracefully. Ageism shouldn't exist in entertainment either. I mean, sure, you don't want someone who's like almost 40 playing a 16-year-old. Older siblings should know what I'm talking about there. I'm just like, seriously? Really? No. I don't care how famous you are. I don't care if you were, okay, because I'm talking about The Wiz, all right? Respect to Diana Ross, but come on. That was totally miscast. And I don't care what any of you say. I really think it was miscast. All right. But when I saw the redo, when NBC used to do their live show, was it NBC or Fox? One of them used to do their live shows. I saw the new, like the newer version with Amber Riley. And it was just like, okay, that feels like more like it. All right. Because you didn't have a 40-year-old playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. You had a 15-year-old doing it. So, and I get it, that was a time when, and Hollywood tends to do that. They will sometimes miscast just because it's a name, and more power to it because, hey, because they're smart, right? They're smart because they know, oh my God, that person's in this movie. I'm going. I don't care what it is. I'm going. Like they have this new movie, The Bride, right? And it's like, I'm still trying to figure out if it's, remake of the one with Sting, or because it was written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and she's just fabulous anyways, but Christian Bale's in it, so of course I gotta see it. It's like a Christopher Nolan movie, right? It's like, I don't care if it's Spielberg, George Lucas, Guillermo del Toro, Christopher Nolan, they put out a movie, I don't care if it's a clown on wheels, I will go see it. And you guys know I hate clowns because it's them, because I respect their work. And just kind of like, okay, I don't even know where that came from, but I think a lot of that is ageism too, right? And here's my question. Why isn't ageism, why doesn't it affect men? Why does it only affect women? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I think I do get it. I just don't want to say it. Because it's not that kind of show. All right. Because I do, I respect every human being that walks the planet. And, well, most human beings that have their right mind on their shoulders on this planet. But everyone is allowed their opinion. Okay. And, like I said, when she sits there and says, I am 55 and I look exactly 55. Stop telling a woman you look younger or you look good for your age. It's not a compliment. I think in its own way, because of the way that we have been, kind of, almost like trained monkeys, right? We have been, God, what is the word I'm looking for? It's just part of our youth obsessed culture, but we have been conditioned. That's the word I'm looking for. We have been conditioned to believe these things, to feel these things, to think that if we tell a woman she looks younger than her age, that's exactly what she wants to hear. Like I said, I would say it is still a compliment. That's the only thing I really disagree with, but it's not validation. And I think that's how most women take it. I don't think most women will sit there and say, oh, thank you for the wonderful compliment. I mean, they'll say that out loud, but inside they're feeling, I feel so validated. I feel so validated. Like if somebody walked up to me today and said, if someone walked up to me today and said, wow, you look great. It's like, what are you, about 35, 37, 38, 39? I say, no, I'm 53. And, it's like, oh, because I've gotten that. That's just an example I'm using. I'm not saying that I look that age. I'm just saying that is an example I've had. But when I heard that, it was more like validation, like, oh, thank goodness I'm aging well. But what is aging well? My outside's doing great. My inside is like chaos right now. I'm still trying to, my friend asked me yesterday, how are you doing? One of my friends in England, because I've been checking in on them, but they've had a lot of stuff going on with their family this year. But I'm just like, you know what? When I know, I'll let you know. And I said, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be mysterious or anything. I just don't know how I feel right now. I don't. I am just kind of, I don't know, but I really feel like whatever that was that happened earlier, that weird, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? And I know this isn't what we're talking about, but it really felt like something was just lifted off of me, or something. It was almost like having an out-of-body experience. But I mean, I got super dizzy. It was kind of like, whoa, that was wild. Nothing hurt, nothing went numb. I don't think it was anything health or physical wise. It literally felt like having a blanket pulled up from over me. Because, when we were kids, we would hide under blankets and it would feel kind of stifling. But, but we'd walk around like we're ghosts, under the sheets and everything. And, all of a sudden when you take it off, it's like, oh yeah, fresh air. It felt cool. That's what it felt like. It felt like this weight was lifted off of me. And it was an insanely cool, a little troubling feeling. Because I was like, okay, health. What is my name? What is my birthday? Because, I want to make sure that my heart's not betraying me at the moment. But maybe my heart felt free, right? We had the, what was the card? We had the Freedom card and the, Freedom card and Beyond the Mind. The Beyond the Mind card. We had cards tell us, look, you know what? When you look in the mirror, just love who you see right there. Respect, right? Just respect for yourself. And, like I said, if you want to get stuff done, do it. Okay. There was one case that, and, I remember hearing about, and this kid was just like, a kid was like, well, I need plastic surgery. And I just kept thinking, why? Why? It's like, you look fine. They hated their nose. I hate my nose. But I wouldn't do anything to it because it's my nose. My parents gave me this nose. And, if people want to have a nose job, I don't care. Like I said, I don't care about plastic surgery, but it was just a kid. And to me, it's a kid. I think they were like 17 or 18. But it's just kind of like, why? Why can't you see your beauty in the mirror? And that, in a way, is me judging. Because if this is something somebody wants to do, their parents say, hey, it's fine, whatever you want to do. It's not my choice. It's theirs. But I think, like I said, if you are a person that that just happens across this, and you're like, well, I need plastic surgery. Just ask yourself, is it because it's something I desire, or is it because I think it's something that's going to make me feel better about myself? Because if it's the latter, I'm not saying don't get the plastic surgery if you really want it. What I'm saying is just check in with yourself and your self-love. Am I doing this because I think it'll make the world happy, or am I doing this because I think it'll make me happy? Because, I've also known people who have done irreversible types of things, and they're kind of like, yeah, I kind of regret that. So just really give it some thought. Don't just jump in feet first. All right. Some of the people I've known that have had breast augmentation, as they call it. I'm not even sure if I can say breast, but breast augmentation. They thought about it. They did their homework. They searched out their doctors, everything. Then they came to me and said, well, what do you think? And I'm like, you got to do what makes you happy. But I did tell them that. I said, but are you doing this for someone else, or are you doing this for you? And they're like, I'm doing this for me. And it's like, okay, then don't worry about what other people think. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're one of my friends, or if you're someone I'm going to meet along the way, or if you're someone I've known in the past and you want plastic surgery, I ain't going to stop you. I'll pick you up from the doctor and take care of you just like I did with my friend. You know, my anonymous friend. It's not me, and it's not older sibling. We just got fat. So. Oh, it's so terrible to say. But yeah, see, we did it the hard way, right? But it was fun. It didn't hurt. But I'm just promoting really bad behavior right now. But anyways, you can see I'm a little tangled up in this, okay? Because I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I don't want to offend anyone. Because like I said, your body is your body, all right? I don't want you to tell me what I can do with my body. I'm not going to tell you what you can do with your body. But like I said, so it isn't something that you regret, and it isn't something that you feel like you need to reverse. Just ask yourself the question first. Is this something that I'm doing to make me happy? Because if it is, there may be more to it than just whatever it is you want done. You know, am I doing it because this is what I think society wants? Am I doing it because this is what this person over here wants? Just be you. I mean, what does 53 look like? What does 55 look like? What does the summer of love look like? We don't know. She says it perfectly right here. Everybody ages differently. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, don't worry about if someone says, oh, well, you're 53, but you look 63. Fine. But I'm still breathing, so, you know, thank you for that. And if if somebody said that to me, I probably would say, I'd probably have to talk myself off the ledge, because I'd be like, oh my God, because my self-love my ego would have definitely taken a beating. But I would just say, you know what, thanks, because I guess that means that I'm going to be 63 one day. But I don't even know what I would say. I would just, I'm a Capricorn. I'd probably just call him out and say, was there a reason you just walked up to me and said, wow, are you about 63 or what? I know that's just a random thing that probably will never happen. Oh, knock on wood, because I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen to anybody. You know, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Even if you think it's something nice. Okay, but like I said, I don't think it's not a compliment. I think it's kind of a weird, awkward compliment. You know, but don't let it be your validation. Okay, don't let it be your validation. Validate yourself. Find your self-love. Be happy. If you want to change yourself, change yourself. But in this moment, right now, every time you look in the mirror, every time you catch a reflection, remind yourself that the person looking back at you is somebody that you love. Somebody that you care about. Somebody that you cherish. And yes, it's you. And you are the person that you should love and respect and care about and cherish. Because you are your only you. Even if you are an identical twin, you are your only you. One of my best friends has twins, and they are so different. They're identical, but they're so different. One prefers contacts, one prefers her glasses. You know, but when they're together, thick as thieves. Thick as thieves, those two. But also because they're sisters. And because they're identical, they did grow up together. They experienced everything together in real time. Not like, oh, you're 2 years older than me. Oh, you got your period first. No, these are kids that experience something in real time, and they're very close with their brother, who's a year younger. Can you imagine that? Twins and then a boy? I'm not a boy, not because it was a boy. She actually said that her son I was so worried because I'd already had 2 babies, and now I was going to have another one, but she says he was perfect. He was like zero, whatever, you know, like he made being a mom to 3 young children very easy. And the girls were, but those girls are feisty. That's why I love them. And I love that they call me Auntie Shelly. It's like, oh, I just love these. You know, I may not be a mom, but I love being an auntie. That's a gift. All right. That is a gift. And not only is that a gift, that is an honor. Okay. To be an auntie. Because, there are lots of people in the world that don't get to be an auntie. But anyways, let's see. Sammy says, exactly. Make sure you are doing it for you and not for other people. You see so many people who start out with some simple surgery and then go crazy with it. I think we know a pop star who did that. Rest in peace. But because you are never going to reach perfection in your own mind, so you keep going and going and going with the surgery. I agree. And what have I said about perfection? You are never going to reach it, because when you reach that one spot that you figured is perfect, you're going to find something else that you need to have perfect. So just shoot for being perfectly imperfect. You know, do what you're going to do. Yeah, I mean, I have two things back here that I colored the other day, right? And you can't see it up close, but for some reason, I have these like paint markers. They're the markers, but they can also act like a paintbrush. And I guess that should have been pretty, I think I clarified that, but whatever. But anyways, there are some bleeds, like color bleeds on them. Now from far away, you can't really tell, but I could see it. And I was just kind of like, oh, that's not the effect I was going for, but I don't want to use a regular pen because it's wood. And that's going to mess up my pen. So I thought, you know what? Okay, who cares? You know, it's not for anybody else's enjoyment. It's for mine. And it's not perfect, but I love it. I do. You know, so, I mean, poor Minnie looks like she has a little tiny mustache under her nose because it bled. But, I guess I could find some kind of light, whatever, give her plastic surgery. I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of plastic surgery. I'm not. That was just me being dumb. But yeah, I mean, do what you feel like you need to do. Okay. But just ask yourself first. You know, check in with your self-love. All right. Because like I said, I mean, I can't say, I probably wouldn't do anything drastic, but I'm also kind of just afraid of pain. I handle pain very well. I have a general high tolerance for pain, not a super high tolerance for pain like older sibling, but I have a general tolerance for pain. But yeah, I don't even like when I get headaches, so I don't want face pain. I think if I wasn't afraid of that, I might have had a nose job when I was younger. But yeah, but that would have just been because, you know, I feel like people see my nose and that's all they see. And now that I've said that, that's probably all you're going to see. But, I'm sorry. I'm just rambling now. But anyways, I love this. I'm going to post the video in the Facebook comments. So again, all Facebook, all my lives are public on Facebook. So anybody can watch them, okay, if you have an account. If you don't, and you go to Instagram, again, it's Ting, Tin as in Nancy, G, last name is Ma, M-A, like Ma. Hey, Ma. All right. No, I'm not making fun. I'm just making a point. But yeah, I love this. I love this. I think one of the reasons I kind of felt that uplifting feeling was because this is the first time in my life that I really not cared how old I was. Like it was some big secret, right? I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm 55 or 55. I'm 53. I'm not 55 yet. I am looking forward to 55. So I'm going to finish it off with this story. When I went to go get my passport 2 months ago, the girl says, oh, well, happy birthday, because I went in 2 days before my birthday. She's not got any big plans. I said, no, it's going to be a very small affair. It was supposed to be my dad, my cousin, and I. It ended up being my cousin and I. And I bought my own cake. Bought my own cupcakes. And she's just like, oh, she's all 53. And I'm like, yeah. And she's all, oh, is that a bad thing? And I said, no. I said, I really can't wait to get to 55. And she's all, really? And I'm like, yeah, because that's when you get all the discounts. I said, 53 is just kind of like a throwaway birthday. It's like, ooh, I hit 50, but it's like, okay, milestone, because you hit a decade, because not everybody makes a decade. All right? I mean, here's the thing. Sissy Joe and my friend from work, they never made 55, or they never even made 50. You know, they barely made it past halfway through 45. But they never hit 50. I mean, every year is a gift. Every year is something beautiful that's been given to you. I mean, you can choose how you want to deal with it. And that, like I said, your body, your choice. But again, don't let other people make you feel bad about your age. I love being 53. When I turned 50, I was like, man, I felt like I finally hit my stride. You know, like, all right, you know, I'm kind of excited about this decade. And I didn't think I would be. And I thought, you know, there's a lot of times I forced myself to be okay with it in the beginning. And then it just kind of grows on you because you have no other choice. But I was like, oh my God, this is like the best decade yet. Because I found a lot of my healing. Because I finally learned to let go. But I think what, oh, good morning, bestie. I love that. Look at that. Risking his life to watch me while he drives. Are you on your way to a very specific place? Oh, maybe McDonald's? Anyways, don't answer that. You can answer it later. But anyways, yeah, so, all right, again, like I'm rambling. But yeah, I just told her, I said, no, I said, I can't wait to be 55. And she says to me, oh yeah, she's all, my mom just turned 55 and she loves it. And then she's all, and at first she kind of paused like, oops, you know, I don't want to make her feel old. I'm like, oh really? She's like, yeah, I think like this store has a discount. I'm like, really? And I didn't want her to feel bad. So I just kind of went on, risking my life only for you. I appreciate it. Thank you, bestie. One more reason to love you. Because you know everything you've done for me is not reason enough. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. I will see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Again, all Facebook or all lives are on Facebook, are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. If I offended anybody in any way on this, I absolutely did not mean to. This is a very kind of touchy subject, and I think it's a subject that is kind of hard to talk about, even if you have notes like I did, or even if you have someone saying everything that you want, because we're not always going to agree with every single word that they say. But, you know, like I said, I'm not going to judge you for your choices, all right? I still color my hair, and I don't care. And because like I said, my ego is vain about my hair. My ego is very vain about my hair. And I am not ready to go gray yet. I am absolutely not ready to go gray yet. I don't want to go gray. That is probably the one thing I resent most in my life, is the fact that I inherited gray hair. However, I also inherited a very thick head of hair, so I don't want to complain about that. All right, which I just did. So I take it. I can't take it back, right? Because it's on the internet. It's on the interwebs forever. But you know what I mean. So just, no matter what age you are, okay, I don't care if you're a 10-year-old, a teenager, a young adult, whatever it is, just be happy with yourself. Love yourself. If you want to color your hair, color your hair. If you want to get something done, get something done. You know, but like I said, check in with yourself first. If it's something that drastic, you can always change your hair color, but you can't always change things that you can't always change alterations. All right, so just check in with yourself first and make sure this is something you want and that you're not doing it to please somebody else. All right, so have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.